What's up, YouTube? I am back and I am doing my DBT04 Magnolia deck profile, which I've been testing for the past month for Chicago Springfest. So if you're there and you see me, feel free to stop by, say hi. If we're in between rounds, we can get a match in. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So, of course, the ride line, we're playing Magnolia. The only reason why these are low rarity is just because I've been testing them, but I should have moved them up about like 3 weeks ago. I do feel like they are great. I'm probably just going to pull them out of my Zorga deck. I don't really want to swap between SPs like that. But anyway, the grade 1 rank chain goes off way more than I expected it to. So it is a good plus. It is a nice little, get me a card, Soul Blast out a card, and in effect, it really works best when you're going second because you get that draw from this. Then you go ahead, you get the 2 draw from there. Then you just have to discard 1. So you just get 2 extra cards in your hand, and then you can swing. So make your opponent drop a card. And then, of course, just get the card back that you discarded, and it's Magnolia time. So, next we are going to start, actually let's start off with the triggers. We're just going to get those out of the way really quickly. It's basically uniform now for a lot of decks. So, one Omni trigger for not Aquaforce, I've been playing a little bit of V Premium, getting ready for Gate 2. But for Stoicheia, the Omni trigger, front trigger, heal, crit, draw, does everything. For this specific crit, not this one. This one's just there because got tired of waiting for the mail to get here today. Same case for my draw triggers. These ones specifically, this one's just because it goes into your soul. This is a 10k blocker. It's too valuable not to use. 3 20k shields in the form of front triggers, and they're pretty nice when, especially since you're swinging with Magnolia Elder now, either first or second. So that's definitely a good plus on why to run these. At first I was just testing it. I was like, these aren't going to be that great. I might as well at least try it out, just to say that I did, and I liked it a lot more than I do. Having to drop 1 card instead of 2, a lot better than, people give it credit for. And then finally, 4 heals, the World Order heals. So, but yeah, those are the triggers. They're mostly uniform. Like most decks run, most Magnolia decks run triggers similar to this lineup. If you see anything else, you might see just more crit. If you see any more draws, that's okay. I thought about putting more draws, but I don't think I would want that just because of how the rest of the deck operates. So we're going to start off with grade 4s. For Magnolia Elders, this card is the reason why the deck is so good. He is like number 1, and the next card is number 2. Why? Actually, let's just go ahead and get right into them. I'll talk about them both at the same time. Inlet Pulse Dragon. There's a reason this is a $10+ triple rare. So basically, Magnolia Elder, when you ride it, period, you get to get something out of your soul, call it to rear guard. You can, so you don't have to. If you don't have any soul. Well, if you don't have any soul, you wouldn't proc that because you need a Magnolia either on rear guard or in soul. But if you have Inlet Pulse from going into grade 3 Magnolia and resolving that, then you get to call out another Inlet Pulse, and then he just keeps going in the soul as long as he's seen 4 battles, and he draws you a card, which is great. Again, however you put him in will determine how you plus. It's a 18k attacker whenever Magnolia or Elder's on board. It's just really good. If anybody has SPs, please let me know. I will most likely buy them. Also, if anybody has 1 SP of this, please let me know. I will most likely buy it. But these 2 cards are like the bread and butter for the deck. Like when you're opening hand, you want to see these. Don't discard this one. You can discard Inlet Pulse, but don't discard Elder. Because unless you're playing Ghost Chase, you don't really have a good way of getting them back into your hand. Next, we're going up to the grade 2s. Alright, Pantero. Pantero is a great card. It just basically allows for recursion and allows for you to maintain your hand for guarding specifically. And when you're doing your ride line, you can discard him, or you can discard Pantero. Sorry, didn't mean to assume. But Pantero's good. It's a 14k attacker and it recurses itself. And even the one that you bring back from the drop zone, it can bring that one, another one back if there's another one in there as well. Next, this is a card that really can't be replaced, but it is Npix. Npix is cheap now. As far as I've seen the last time I looked, which was about a week and a half ago, Npix is about like hovering around like $6 to $9. Pick them up if you can, and if anybody has foils, let me know. I will buy them. But Npix basically is, if he's in the back row, and either you've given him the ability to attack from the back row from grade 3 Magnolia, or you just have an Elder on board. If he's in the back row, he becomes a 23k attacker because of the 5k from Elder or regular Magnolia, plus his own 10k from being in the back row. And it's a continuing skill, so if they have a unit that can attack the back row, they have to hit over 18. Next, the most busted ability. If you just have, like this on board, your Vanguard, and then like this, and then some other random rearguard, your opponent can't target anything in this column. As long as you have 3 or less rearguards, your opponent can't target this column. So they can't target Npixes. That also does cover Prison, which this card makes the Prison matchup really nice. Because they're like, oh, well, you have to choose. I'm like, yeah, but you can't target. And it's not the fact that it's you, yourself, the player targeting. It's the fact that it's your opponent's effect that's making you target, which is why Npix gets around it. So if you didn't know, now you know. Next, grade 2 is one of my favorites since set 1. And I'm only running 2. I have seen no reason to run more, even if you hit one in the damage zone. Magnolia. Now with Elder, you don't counterblast really at all. I think this is one of the few, one of the 3 cards in the deck that counterblast, and it's a total of 6 cards that counterblast, being 1 copy of this, 2 copies of another. It's one of 4 cards, 2 of 4 cards that counterblast in the deck. So, I mean, if you want to run more, feel free. But if you did, the only wiggle room that I found is taking out this next card, Gabreg. Gabreg, I love this card. It stole so many wins for me. Now my opponents are like, oh crap, I don't know what to do, because if I drop this, and that, then I can't guard with, PGs, grade 0s. I had an opponent one time put down literally 1 of each grade on the board. And I was just like, okay, so this is swing for game. Swing. I gave it it was 15k because of Elder. And I swung for 15k for game because they had 1 of each guard, and I already practiced skill. So the way that you practice skill is whether he's in front row or back row. If your other unit swings, you soul blast 1 because of him. At this time, he gets plus 10k, and this unit gets the ability, not the unit that's attacking, this unit gets the ability of guard restrict. It checks the board, it checks your opponent's field for whatever grades are on that side, and then your opponent can't guard with that grade when this unit attacks. Not this one, this one. If it gave it to another unit, it would be red text. So that's just a little heads up, just in case you run into it at Springfest. But yeah, Gabreg, I love it. Granted, it's a Soul Blast, but it's only a 1 of, and it's just there to steal games. Next, 4 PGs, because PGs are PGs. Next, this card has been it's been testing out very nice. Sylvanhorn Beast Alvin. As long as it's in the back row, especially with Elder, it's a 13k attacker, and your opponent has to drop 2 cards. If you're running into soul issues, there's a grade 1 that you can use that I'll be showing up on the screen, along with substitutes that you could possibly do if you don't have Npix or you don't have access to Npix. I'll be putting those up on the screen right about now, and you can pause and read them just in case you want to use them. But yeah, Alvin is an annoying card that I'm finding that I love, especially if you're a greedy, if you were a greedy Aquaforce player like me, who's now playing Stoicheia, and you want to play very similarly, because Aquaforce is all about the little pings. So is this, in my opinion. That's how I play it. I play it very greedy. I play it to the point where, my opponent's like, why are you swinging 4 times for 19K? Why are you swinging for this? Why are you doing that? Like, why don't you swing for big numbers? Like, I don't really care about big numbers. All I care about is just taking cards out of your hand. Next, we have the orders: 2 Wild Intelligence, 2 Spiritual Body Condensation, and 1 Regurgitation. So, Wild Intelligence is great for the grade 3 Magnolia turn. It's great, any turn. It's a counterblast. If you're not on grade 3 Magnolia, you only bring back 1, but on that turn, like, I've seen this more often than not for my grade 3 Magnolia turn. And it's amazing. You get to bring back 2 units if you do that, but otherwise it's just counterblast 1 to bring back 1. Pretty standard. Spiritual Body Condensation, turn 2, you can start your aggro. If you have something in there, just as long as you Soul Blast 1, bring back something no higher than your Vanguard's grade. And then finally, Regurgitation, just because this was a Wild Intelligence, but I'm trying this out just because it takes your opponent off their game. They won't expect you to be counterblasting 1, Soul Blasting 1 to kill one of their units and bring back one of yours. So it's a pretty much an even wash, because you're playing this card out of hand, it's -1, but you kill one of your opponent's cards, this puts you at even. I guess it's a +1, because you get to bring back a unit and then you get to do other lovely things to your opponent. But yeah, this is what I've been testing for the past month and a half. It's very nice. Even with 5 orders only, I still do get Ranker Chain off a lot, especially since I hard mulligan for it. Cards that you are okay with discarding for the ride line, pretty much anything, because of Spiritual Body Condensation, you have +1 of everything in your deck. But things you're okay with, definitely Pantero. You're okay with Inlet Pulse. Those are the main 2 things that I look for to discard for the ride line. But other than that, anything is okay except for PGs, triggers, order cards, unless you're like going first. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you do check out the guidelines on the Bushy Road site for Springfest, because there are some things that are pretty important, especially about your team's deck compositions, the type of masks that are going to be required if you're vaccinated. Make sure you bring your vaccination card. If you're not, it sounds like they're going to be doing an on-site negative COVID test, or a rapid COVID test. I'm not positive, so hopefully they provide out more information. And I do believe that they are going to be providing masks if you don't have one of the preferred qualified masks that they have. So they do have a list of what masks are accepted. So if you can, go on Amazon. I'm not sponsored in any way, even though it'd be nice. Go ahead, get that. Keep yourself safe. Keep everybody safe. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment, and like. And I'll see you guys in Chicago.